The House has voted down an incredibly important piece of legislation, an amendment that was proposed by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that would have stopped the US military from using deceptive practices to recruit young people on Twitch, which of course is an incredibly popular platform among young people. Now, here's what was going on before AOC proposed this amendment, and then we'll go to what she had to say about it on the House floor. So the US Army actually has a Twitch channel that it uses to fish for potential recruits. It came under fire for issuing bans to viewers who asked about war crimes. One of them, by the way, was our friend Jordan Ewell. A report by The Nation dug deeper, pointing out, among other things, that the channel had a habit of running fake controller giveaways that redirected viewers to a recruitment page. Following widespread scrutiny, Twitch says it forced the Army to stop. Now, here's what the statement from Twitch was. Per our terms of service, promotions on Twitch must comply with all applicable laws. This promotion did not comply with our terms, and we have required them to remove it. Now, AOC brought attention to this on the House floor. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
Right now, currently, children on platforms such as Twitch are bombarded with banner ads that link to recruitment sign-up forms that can be submitted by children as young as 12 years old. These are not educational outreach programs, but recruitment forms for the military. A Twitter account for the US Army esports team linked to a page with, quote, register to win at the top, no details on what one could even win, and a sign-up form that, according to a tiny disclosure at the bottom of the page, consents to contact by an Army recruiter, again allowing people as young as 12 years old to submit this form. Viewers in the Army's Twitch channel are repeatedly presented with an automated prompt that says they could win an Xbox Elite Series 2 controller that costs upwards of $200 and a link where they can enter the, quote, giveaway. It too directs them to a recruitment form with no additional mention of a contest odds, total number of winners, or when a drawing will occur.
And by the way, I want to emphasize this because it's important to remember the demographic that is definitely well represented on Twitch. When presenting the amendment, Ocasio-Cortez gave a speech where she outlined the way Twitch is full of kids as young as 12 to 13 years old, incredibly impressionable, and that the service in the military is far too serious a concern to be gamified in the way the Army and Navy have recently been caught trying. And by the way, I mean, we know how powerful the military industrial complex is. We know what kind of sway and influence private military contractors have over our members of Congress, which is to say that it shouldn't be surprising that 103 Democrats voted alongside Republicans to reject Representative Ocasio-Cortez's amendment. And I love AOC's, I love this tweet because it's just so accurate and what you would expect if you were trying to make this case before the members of Congress that we usually complain about. Imagine trying to explain to your colleagues who are members of Congress what Twitch is. Damn. That's definitely some shade. But Nando, I know you have strong feelings about our military and you have brilliant thoughts on our foreign policy, so please go off.
Well, I think what's going on, well, first of all, you know who voted against it as well was friend of the show, Tulsi Gabbard, the anti-war Tulsi Gabbard. But here's what's going on. What's going on with this? The US military is desperate for recruits. The 9/11 sheen has worn off, right? They basked in the 9/11 sheen for a long time where it was really cool to be a troop and there was like this kind of feeling that the troops were this exalted members of society. This was a very real thing. Everyone remembers that, right? And that has worn off big time. I mean, it's worn off for many reasons. It's worn off because the wars are horrible and they're never ending and no one believes in them anymore. It's worn off because they're seeing how many soldiers come back maimed and riddled with PTSD. And it's also worn off because of Trump in a way. Like I remember when Trump went after the dead troops mother, like early on in his presidency. And I remember thinking like, this does seem like a watershed moment where like even the right wingers are like going after the troops now if they don't kind of go with the agenda, right? They used to be kind of like these hallowed, protected people, but no longer. And that's had the intended effect of just losing kind of a social capital that they had that they don't have anymore. So now they're desperate and they're starting an esports team to lure gamers, and they're doing all this stuff on Twitch. Again, it's just it's a sign of desperation, I think, and it's obviously like incredibly dystopian as well. Just like the hey kids, it's like very Starship Troopers-y, if you know what I mean. So it's horrifying.
What goes along with that is, so I don't mean to throw him under the bus if anyone gets offended by this commentary, but I think he's right. I would go to baseball games with Christian, my partner, and before the baseball games, at least the Dodgers do this. I don't know if every team does this. They'll bring up a soldier, a veteran, a soldier, someone, and everyone will clap for this person and celebrate them. And Christian gets really irritated, like he gets mad at it. And it's not because he has anything against the individual who's being celebrated, but he has a problem with it being, propaganda at this giant sporting event. And he has a good point there, he really does. So like, he doesn't engage in it because he's against the principle of it. Again, not against the troop, not against he doesn't even know who that person is, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it goes along with what we were talking about regarding propaganda for policing, pro-police propaganda. It's very similar to what we see with troops, and a lot of it is lip service. I think you're right. When Trump started attacking John McCain, someone who was a prisoner of war and refused to leave his fellow soldiers behind when he could have been freed, you would think that everyone would, condemn Trump's statements, but they didn't. The Republican Party supported him. And I bring that up because I think Americans are becoming increasingly aware that it's all lip service, that the US government doesn't actually care about the health, the well-being, and the heroism of these individuals. They use them as props when it's convenient for them, and totally forget about them and neglect them when it comes to the healthcare they need and the mental health care they obviously desperately need as well.
No, it's 100% true. Like, first of all, you brought up the John McCain thing, and I remember at the time when he started going after John McCain for being like a bad pilot or whatever in the campaign. I remember thinking like, oh, he's done. Like this is like he's crossed a sort of very hallowed line in American culture and American politics that would destroy any other presidential campaign, let alone any other politician. And then when that didn't happen, I was like, whoa, okay, that was like a huge wake up call for me personally, because I remember like assuming that was it for Trump. But I do agree with you, and I want to be clear, like I have nothing against any individual troop. I feel bad for them mostly. They're very much used, like they're used as props. It's disgusting. I mean, they're sent off to do these awful things, and they all come back mentally disturbed, and it's really awful. And they're ignored, and they're not given health care, which they absolutely deserve and need. Which is why that central hypocrisy about the sort of troop worship is so disgusting, right? It's let's give these people healthcare, let's take care of them, obviously, and let's bring them home. That would be the best for them. The worst thing that we can do to them is send them off to murder Pashtun children in Afghanistan, and then come back and then give them nothing, in return, and nothing for doing that. So yeah, I mean, the sports thing is absolutely true. It's just like, I mean, this idea that like Colin Kaepernick politicized the NFL is absurd. I mean, the NFL is basically like a propaganda machine for US empire. So I feel bad for the individual troops, but the overall kind of lowering of the status of the troops in the society is in the long run going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. And then finally, I just want to mention that the army does have that Twitch channel, and they were banning people who were asking questions about war crimes. And as I mentioned, one of those people was our friend Jordan Yule, who's on Twitch. You should follow him, subscribe to him. Really chill guy is what he goes by. And I just want to give you a statement and he is a really chill guy.
He is a really
the
chill
ACLU, the ACLU has said that what the Army's channel was doing was wrong. So the ACLU and other legal organizations have said that the Army channel's tendency to ban users for asking questions is unconstitutional on the grounds that the government can't legally forbid speech on the basis of viewpoint. And they tweeted about this, saying calling out the government's war crimes isn't harassment, it's speaking truth to power. And banning users who ask important questions isn't flexing, it's unconstitutional. So I love that response by the ACLU, and I think they're absolutely right.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.